fireworks in the sky. But the truth's still buried underground. Royal Low, yeah. They told me, wave the flag while the chains still clank. Told me praise the names on the blood-soaked banks. Told me freedom was born in the room full of men who wrote liberty down while they own human skins. So fuck your founding fathers and the myths they made. I don't pledge to the lie, I don't kneel to the page. You can light up the sky, I remember the smoke from the fields, from the ships, from the necks in the rope. You call it independence, I call it selective. You call it patriotic, I call it protective. Other stories so fragile it cracks when questioned. Truth knocks once and they call it aggression. Yeah. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, yeah. No justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. They say, look how far we came. I say, look what it cost. Every courthouse got a shadow, every victory got lost. They gave statues to the takers, made heroes out of thieves. Put their faces on the money while the hungry couldn't breathe. Don't lecture me on freedom from a stolen land stage. Don't quote old documents with blood on the page. Don't tell me be grateful for a seat at the table when my people built the room and got treated unstable. You can't buy me through the truth, you can dress it in stars, but the anthem still echoes like chains behind bars. I don't hate the people, I hate the disguise. I hate when the guilty get praised as the wise. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Don't call it hate when the wound speaks back. Don't call it division when our name was fact. Don't call it progress while the system still bites. Don't call it freedom if we still gotta fight. I'm not here for comfort, I'm not here to pretend. I'm here for the children who deserve better than this. Better than myths, better than chains, better than flags used to cover up pain. So this one's for the ancestors who never got rest, for the names never written but who gave us their best, for the mothers who prayed, for the fathers who ran, for the babies born fighting in the stolen man's plan. This is not disrespect, this is correction. This is not rebellion, this is resurrection. You can keep your parade, I keep speaking the truth. I don't need permission to remember my roots. Royal oak in the soil, truth in the flame. If the crown came with silence, then I don't want the name. But if the crown means standing when the whole world falls, then I'm 10 toes down till the real story's told. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roofs scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Fireworks fade, but the truth don't die. Royal Low. 4th of July. Not your midnight, not your life, not your version of my life.
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake up call. So, as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. So, let's see who's in here. Just Jean is here. Pearly, Mr. Elevation. All right. Let's get into it. Pia Stewart. Resurgence is here. Betty Boop. All right. That Crazy Beach Aries, Christopher Perkins. All right. Ivo Ovi. Ivy League Trading is here. All right. So let's get ready to get into it. Georgia PD Snitch Task Force is back in the virtual building. Tawana is here. Okay. Ethelene is here. All right, beloved. Serene is here. All right. With that all being said, hey Tawana. With that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. Okay, Poems from the Heart TV, and Fred the Jig is here also. Okay, I see you, Donna. C-Stan is in the virtual building. Okay, shout out to all my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen, and a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. I see you, Volvo to Love. All right, I see you, LL. Okay, so let's get it popping. Now, before we get started, as per usual, you know the drill. Let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find her marvelous products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. Okay, and so let's get ready to get into it. So, it's been a whole lot of lying going on, conflicting stories, okay, contradictories, and all of that. So, we're about to get into it. Everyone hit that like button. Also, don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed, especially if you have not been receiving your notifications. Okay, so with that all been said, it's going to be a very eventful morning from the sounds of it or from the looks of it. Now, first off, let's talk about all these lies. Okay, now I know you all saw the I think I showed you all a bit of the new or the latest interview that Rage Tatum did. Okay, it's not doing them any favors. It's making them look even worse. Okay, and then they came out themselves yesterday and admitted that, in fact, people showed up at their homes, at their residence, 15 people precisely, and that some of those people knew them from high school. Okay, and so we talked about that yesterday. I found it very interesting that people that actually know them in real life also didn't believe what they were saying. Okay, thought that they were being, deceitful or deceptive. Now, with that all being said, you all remember the picture that I showed you days ago where it looked like something was darting up from the floor of the boat. Let's go back and look at that again because also you can see that one of the young men standing there, he turns and glances, he's looking down because clearly whatever it was that moved, yeah, he saw it. And the thing is, whatever it is that moved was the same color as Nolan's skin. Okay, please pay attention. Okay, I'm going to go to the footage. Lights up, everyone. Please like and share.
Okay, people on TikTok believe that they see Nolan Wells' hand comes up as the rope being tugged. Now, let me tell you what to look for. Okay, first and foremost, you're going to see the guy on the end right here
with the red beads with the rope. Look at the direction and the angle of the rope. It's angling down. Then it's coming across the front part of the body of teal shorts. It goes down. Look at it going down in front of blue shorts all the way to the ground. There's something's going to pop up and it's going to go back down. And then you'll notice blue shorts. Blue shorts is critical because he's looking at whatever it is where the arm looking like it popped up and it's brown, melanated. One more time. The rope being tugged. Rope coming across the front of the blue body, angled down in front of teal shorts, in front of blue shorts, down to the ground. Pay attention between blue shorts and the guy sitting down. You're going to see something brown pop up. There it is. There it is. There it is. And it's going to go back down. And then what you're going to see, watch the guy right here with the blue shorts staring straight ahead. Look straight down. He's going to look right down at it. You see that? So the giveaway is the guy with the red beads tugging on the rope, the angle of the rope coming in front of teal shorts' body, going down to where blue shorts is standing. So blue shorts is standing where he is, but there's something in front of him and he can't help but look at it after the rope is tugged. Teal shorts is standing on the ledge because he can't stand on the floor because there's something right there. The girl in the back can't stand on the floor either. And the guy with the rope is not standing on the floor. Look again, pay attention. Look at blue shorts. Look at the brown object comes up. There it is. Look at blue shorts. Now look at him. He's looking directly at it. So go back to the rope. They're showing you the angle of the rope. It's being tugged. It's like they're doing this for whoever's on the other boat to show that he's there. Go down, go down, go down. Follow the rope. Then look at blue shorts. Follow the rope. Then look at the brown object pops up. There it is. And then it's going to go away. There it is. There it is. There it is. It's like a hand. It's like a hand. There it's gone. It's gone. Now watch blue shorts. There it is. He's looking directly at it. He can't.
Okay, now y'all saw that, right? Y'all saw that. And mind you, the other day when I showed you all that, I actually took a screenshot of whatever it was that was darting up to enlarge it so I could show it to you all. So I'm sorry. This is all crazy. Okay, this is all crazy. Now, they should have been arrested a long time ago if you ask me, but we're not even going to get into all of that. Let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now I'm going to pull up these videos and we're going to get into when Nancy Grace, when she was talking to Rage Bait and Tatum, because he's such a liar. He sat there and said that those boys took a polygraph test, right? But their lawyer said otherwise.
My last video, I wanted to show you this. This is from Nolan's mom's Instagram from the day after he went missing. This was the picture that she was sent. So naturally, these two pictures should line up, right? So what I did is I made sure to line up this little like black loopy thing here. I made sure to line up this part of the boat and this like rope here. Now watch. Look at the difference here. Look at that. He's barely moving. And the entire skyline is different. You can say, oh, these are different pictures and like people just moved slightly, but the skyline wouldn't fucking change. So what were they hiding? Because it seems to me they didn't want people to see this boat or this green boat. Like, the skyline doesn't change over here. Look, it's in the same place. It's just over here. So 100% from the get-go, they were tampering with photographs. Absolutely nothing that they've given anybody can be trusted. I am about to wipe Evil Mur's smile clean off his face because this man is a joke. So yesterday I was playing with the contrast in this picture to try and get a better picture of the pattern on Morgan's swimsuit. I realized that half of this picture is not changing at all when I play with the shadows, which is an indicator to me of a photograph being altered. So then I started scrutinizing this picture because why would I ever have reason to doubt it before? And then that's when I noticed this boat seam underneath all of their legs. You can almost trace it all the way until you get to Nolan. Not only are these creases in different places, but there's no shadow, nothing underneath his legs here. In fact, if you look really closely, make sure your brightness is turned all the way up, you can see a seam right here that just stops. And that would connect over here. Then I saw in between this elbow here, look, there is so much fabric that's supposedly his shorts. Not to mention a very intimate hand placement. I mean, that elbow is going all the way up to them hips. And then look, in between Morgan's legs, like, why does this shadow suddenly stop? You can see a seam here and then nothing. And then look at the way Nolan is holding this can. Got one finger like over the lid, but the can looks really like wide. And then his thumb is on the other side of the lid. Like, how would you hold something like that? Now look at this half of the picture. Notice how Nolan's head is casting a shadow going to the left. Same with Eric here. Head casting shadow to the left. Which means right where I am on the screen would be the direction that the sun would be coming from. And yet his shadow is going straight down, and his shadow is going straight down and to the right, implying that their light source, their sun, is coming from over here. So is this picture fake? Then I started looking at the photos that they gave to Officer Tatum. Why is Nolan a giant? He and Jax are literally almost the same build and height. And I understand that perspective's a thing, but not when they're this close to each other, not when the camera is right here. And look, same problem with this one with the shadows. Shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going this way, shadow going straight up and down, shadow straight up and down, straight up and down, straight up and down, straight up and down, to the left. And this jacuzzi tub looks normal at first until you zoom in. First off, why is his elbow blending into his hat? Why is his chest an Audi? And whose fucking face is that? Because that looks like AI tried to recreate this guy. This is another picture of Nolan with them, and I'm like, why does his eyes look swollen shut? Why his neck is big as his head? But get ready, folks. I'm about ready to blow their little he wasn't on the Triton picture out of the fucking water. Because right here is Morgan's swim trunks. You can see his like beads here, his glasses, his hat. But I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on in this picture. Then I was comparing these two videos and I realized, oh wait, it's a visor. It's a visor hanging off of this. See, there's the bill and like the little like part there. But as I was comparing these two pictures, something fucking hit me. Look at black part, metal, white plastic, metal, visor. Black part, metal part, white plastic, no metal pole. Look at the steering wheel. The steering wheel has this like white flap thing that's going on here. What? No white. But look, there's the door. There's the door. What's going on here with this leg? I don't know. Now, do you guys see it? Can you see it? Vertical bars, horizontal bars, vertical, horizontal. And it's not just that the vertical bars are missing. There is no horizontal bar like right here. But not only that, y'all see how there's like this curved bar here? Where's the bar in this picture? It should be going right next to the hat, like right into it. And yet we have nothing here. And I know y'all have lots of questions and I can't pretend like I have any answers to them.
Now, her attention to detail is absolutely immaculate, okay? There you see it again. Look right there. There you see that hand or whatever it is pop up again.
Okay, so Nolan Wells, 18-year-old Nolan Wells.
Holy shit, holy shit. Go back and watch her whole video. Her name is Melanin, and she points something out on this boat that I missed, a lot of people missed. Nolan Wells' hand pops up. Do you see where that little blue arrow is that I drew? That's a hand. That's Wyatt making a call. Hold on. That's Wyatt making the CTAC call. I can't remember what it was, allegedly, right? And right after that hand pops up, this kid looks down at it. You go back and watch the whole video, you'll see it. Again, allegedly Nolan Wells' hand that pops up where that blue arrow is. This kid in the dark navy blue shorts looks down at it. Again, Wyatt making the CTAC call. Jay Megan pointed out that the girl, I think here is Katie, allegedly. Then Melanin also spotted, do you see this red circle? That's Nolan Wells' necklace. The one that he had on the day they murdered him. That's Nolan Wells' necklace. This was all seen by Melanin. She caught the necklace, she caught the hand. Now, we've been watching Jay Megan crush it with all that she's been finding. Now, this is the first time somebody has seen that hand and made the correlation to this necklace. So, Melanin, you should run the FBI. Between you and Jay Megan, This is unbelievable. Girl, you got an eagle eye. And this is all alleged and for entertainment purposes, because apparently these yahoos, these nut jobs, have formed a list of people that they want to sue. Okay.
We're not going to sue any darn body. Like I told you, they do not want a period of discovery. Let me give my disclaimer. Views, opinions, allegations, and accusations expressed by guests, third parties, or commenters are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show or any of my affiliate shows or channels or accounts. Content is presented for commentary, discussion, reporting, and educational purposes. Discussion of an allegation does not mean the allegation is true or endorsed by this channel. All persons are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law.
Forensic.
Sue. Okay. One of the people on that list is Sam. I can't remember his full name, but he's great. But you know who's not on that list? Melanin's not on that list, and neither is Jay Macon. Allegedly.
Say that. Let me be clear. Mama knew that he got left behind. Okay? That's cardinal sin number one of boating etiquette. Don't leave anybody behind without knowing how they're going to get back. If somebody rides with you, they ride back with you, or you get in writing. At least I do. Hey, I'm not riding back with you. Here it is, blah, blah, blah. Or know how they're going to get back.
Yeah.
Period. So this is speculation.
So that is Jay Gill. That was the Cajun Navy, the United Cajun Navy, who was one of the ones who went out searching for Nolan Wells. What do you think about what he said? Rule number 1 is never leave anybody behind. No man left behind, right? Interesting, huh? I caught that on a live about a week ago. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Anyway, love you.
Okay, so he was basically saying no man left behind. If the person comes with you, they're supposed to leave with you. And if not, then you should make sure you get it in writing because that's what he does. Now, here's the thing. That's important to note because that's going to be part of the reason that the Wansleys are going to sue them. Okay? Pay attention. That's going to be one of the grounds that they sue them for wrongful death. I'm willing to bet money on it. Okay? Because they took Nolan out there, but they didn't bring Nolan back. Okay? At least not alive. Now, let's continue. But we're going to get to the part where Bart's lawyer exposes him momentarily.
In this case for over 30 days. The facts are the facts are the facts. These boys had nothing to do with the death of Nolan Wells.
Okay, listen, when was the timestamp on that video? Nancy, I'm going to answer it this way. Yes. We don't think that you're accusing us of lying. We don't feel that way. We're just simply saying this. And it's okay. You're asking legitimate investigative questions. And we don't fault you for that. But here's what we're saying. It's been over 30 days. There has never been one shred, one iota, one piece, nothing. There is no evidence that ties Warren, Morgan, or Jax to any crime because they did not commit a crime. They had nothing whatsoever to do. Right. And again, there's nothing. What's timestamp on that video? But that's not our burden. See, that's the problem. You're putting this burden on us, all right? There's never been one piece of evidence. You did that to yourself, Paul, when you said, here's the boat that day and he's not on it. That may be.
Listen, she's absolutely right because they're trying to say that it's not up to them to produce the timestamp or whatever. But yeah, it is because you're the one putting that out there as if it's their alibi. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. He's the one putting it out there. So don't sit there and try to gaslight and deflect now because she's asking you what day was that filmed. Okay? When was that created? He doesn't want to answer. Neither of them do. The other one said July the 4th around 4:30. But that's when the boat was leaving, right? The boat they'd already called the tow and all of that.
Very well be true. That may be
no,
absolutely
we
true.
didn't. We
And
didn't
I'm
do that
saying,
to ourselves.
when was the video
Well,
taken?
Well, no, I'm telling you
Around
that we have
4:30,
multiple.
July 4th.
Yeah, and I'm telling you another thing, Nancy. We have multiple witnesses, and we're going to protect their names on the air here.
To the lawyer, and according to what they told me, they said they handed it over to the FBI voluntarily. And the sad part is that I wish that Nolan's phone could be evaluated, because there have been claims that had not been substantiated, and I believe that the claims should have never gone out in the public unless they were substantiated, that there was a potential that things were deleted from his phone, which put these young boys in a bad position unnecessarily. It's not fair to say that you're throwing out that things were deleted, but obviously mom can't determine if they were deleted because she couldn't do a forensic investigation on the phone, so she really don't know. Which I'm not knocking her as her baby.
In the deleted file and found things.
Well, she.
He sounds so stupid. Of course, you can tell if something's been deleted on a phone. You don't need a forensic expert to tell you that. Okay, you can look at the phone. You can go to the recently deleted. Okay, at the end of the day, he's so ridiculous. You know, it's really interesting because this is the first time I've ever listened to him talk so much, because usually I just, scroll past because I know that he's a raccoon. But this is literally my first time listening to him day after day after day and conducting these interviews and spewing these narratives and being on this show and that show. Now that he's gained a bit of traction because of this case. I'm not saying he didn't have traction before, but what I'm saying is the reason he's on my radar is because of this case. That being said, it's very obvious to me this man is not intellectual at all. He is I'm not going to curse, but he is an idiot. Okay, that's what he is. You can tell he doesn't read, research, or study at all. He says the most asinine things, period. But let's continue.
Is different.
There hadn't been a determination that anyone had murdered Nolan. Tampering with evidence or deleting evidence, potential evidence, is a crime. And so the fact that the family, from my understanding and what the lawyers have said, that they haven't given this information over to law enforcement for them to evaluate, it's very troubling to me.
Okay, again, for the millionth time, you don't know they haven't. And I don't know that they have. But what you're saying about tampering with evidence is absolutely true. But I have no reason to believe that Nolan Wells' family has tampered with evidence. That said, I think you've got things bass-ackwards. I do not want to convict or hang an innocent person. All I want to know is what happened. And I haven't even gotten to the CETO call. Is it real? Is it fake? I'd like somebody, i.e. you, if you have the original, to put it out there. But that's it. Whoa, don't go off on that. Susan Hendricks joining us. Susan Hendricks is a veteran investigative journalist. She's the author of the bestseller Down the Hill, My Descent into the Double Murder in Delphi. She exhaustively researched and investigated the double murder of 2 little girls and came to the truth. Susan Hendricks, you've heard all of the evidence that we've got tonight, and there's so much more we haven't gotten to. I want to hear where things stand now. Is there a grand jury? Is there going to be a grand jury? Where is the phone? Was the boat searched? Just enlighten me in any way that you can, Susan Hendricks.
There is a grand jury. They are investigating. You mentioned Delphi. There's hints of this to me, meaning it's being tried in the court of public opinion. And it's troubling to me that we talk about the mom and we don't know that she didn't hand over the phone. So now she has to go on defense. And as Officer Tatum said, the boat has not been searched by cadaver dogs. So we know that. Grand jury is investigating, and the parents have to suffer through this. And also, all attorneys have to say is, I don't think it's my understanding that she didn't hand over the phone. She wants to know what happened to her son. She wants to know, why wouldn't she hand over the phone? It's just obscene that she has to suffer through this even more.
Well, you hit the nail on the head right there, and you answered a very serious and critical question, and that is, there is a grand jury. Everything Tatum is saying and everything I'm saying, you know that phrase in the Bible, Tatum, We are now looking through a mirror darkly. We're looking through a very murky, grimy glass because we don't know. You are saying one thing, I'm questioning that because we don't know. And in the middle of it all, we have got a dead body of Nolan Wells. I don't want to get tangled up in arguments and vitriol that detracts from finding the truth. And I don't take anybody at face value. I don't suspect anybody, and I suspect everybody. I can't tell. Brandon Tatum, are you a medical examiner?
No, I'm not.
Okay, because what I have been told, and correct me if I'm wrong, don't smile at me. It's not working.
I'm trying.
From what I understand, let's go to the expert. Joe Scott Morgan is joining me, Joseph Scott Morgan, Professor of Forensics, Jacksonville State. I don't know. So how do
Nancy,
you know?
Nancy, I have to push back on you on this.
Okay, but we don't have the cause of death.
We don't. It has not been released yet.
And the second examiner said undetermined.
Yeah, because he didn't have any organs to examine.
Exactly. Officer Tatum, you keep saying it was a drowning. I have responded, are you a medical examiner? You said no. So, how do you know what happened other than what you've been told? I don't know what happened.
Nancy,
I don't know if he was hit on the head. I don't know if he got drunk and drowned. I don't know. So how do you know?
I have to push back on you on this. I did not say it was a drowning. I gave you two options. I said the police could be investigating a crime, and if they're investigating a crime and they have suspects and they need evidence, they will extract the phone with a search warrant against the family's will. If they do not believe that they're investigating a crime that's been committed and it is a drowning, according to them, they may not need the phone, so they're not gonna do a warrant to extract the phone against the family's will. So that's all I'm saying, Nancy. I did not say I know for a fact whichever way it went. I really don't know, and nobody knows except for the people that are investigating.
I heard you.
No, I just made mention that they may be investigating it as a drowning. The initial findings, or at least the initial report that came out. Are you going to make mommy do
a playback? Am I going to have to do a playback?
Nancy, I did not say that it was a drowning.
Okay, now let me just tell you all something. I want you all to pay attention to something he did there. So when Nancy Grace was telling him that he doesn't know whether or not the mother turned over the phone or not, right? And then she says she further had told him that they could issue a warrant for the phone. If the police really wanted that phone, that's absolutely what they could do. Okay, so, but they didn't do that. So then Tatum tries to defend the police as well. Okay, he's defending anybody that's accused of anything down there in Ocean Springs, as long as they don't look like him. Please pay attention. So he then says, well, they didn't issue a warrant because they don't think there's been a crime committed. I mean, if they thought there was a crime committed, then they would do that. But here's the thing. He literally just sat there and said that it was concerning to him that Nolan's mother had not turned over the phone. Now, if he feels that there's nothing to see here, folks, according to Sheriff Ledbetter, okay, and the rest of the law enforcement officials, then why would he be so concerned about her turning over that phone? But hold on, I want you to see this video where he's going in hard in the paint about the same thing, Nolan's phone.
Oh, your mind.
Hold on, let me put an overlay on this.
At the reality that the family have not turned over Nolan's phone to investigators. That means a month into this, accusations of a crime will never be investigated because they will not turn it over to law enforcement. How are you going to present this to a grand jury and you claim that there's evidence of impropriety, criminal activity, Tampering with evidence, deleting things from a phone is a crime. And the family is saying, and the family attorney is saying there's a crime that's committed, but they're unwilling to send the information to investigate, to make arrests in this case. It is blowing my mind. So Don Lemon addressed that. Roll it.
As a legal team has stated previously, including during our in-person meeting with Wells family and counsel, we have been and remain ready and willing to cooperate, arranging a joint forensics inspection of Nolan Wells' personal cell phone. During that meeting, we specifically discussed having an examination conducted through the digital forensics lab at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, as well as the possibility of FBI involvement in that process. Our position has not changed. We are prepared to coordinate a mutually agreeable date and procedure for the examination of the phone. Accordingly, to the extent there has been any suggestion that we have been unwilling to have or have failed to cooperate with the investigation, we want to make it clear that this is not the case. You also previously indicated that Dr. Mitchell would be provided an opportunity to review the materials necessary for him to complete an autopsy review. We remain prepared to facilitate that process. Please provide us with available dates and times for Dr. Mitchell to review those materials, along with any instructions necessary to arrange his access.
Enough. I just want y'all to hear Don Lemon say it. Yeah, I just want y'all to hear Don Lemon read. You're watching this on the 12th. It was yesterday. They sent out a letter, I think late in the evening, about the fact that they have not given over the phone. Now, let's put this in perspective real quick. It's not an excuse to say, well, we don't trust the justice system to give his phone to them to do a forensic investigation. Well, then what you're saying is that you're not willing to accept anything that they're going to say. This is par for the course, in my opinion, with Benjamin Crump. No criminal justice, only payouts and money grab. It appears to me that they only want lawsuits against these boys, wrongful death suits, and money. It's not finding out what happened to Nolan. It's going to blow you.
Okay, first of all, he's trying to paint a narrative as per usual. Okay, the thing is this. I'm so sick and tired of people, specifically people like him, sitting there talking about it's a money grab with Ben Crump and it's not about justice or whatever. First of all, how many times do I have to say it? Benjamin Crump is a civil rights attorney, not a criminal defense attorney. Even if he were, it's up to the prosecutor. It's up to a grand jury to decide who's going to be indicted, and he knows that. So he's sitting here playing games and gaslighting and deflecting. But the bottom line is this: he's sitting there acting like it's so detrimental for the police to have that darn phone, but clearly it isn't, because they'd have gotten a warrant by now. Also, he's acting like Nolan's mother or parents are just trying to be difficult. No, they don't trust the Mississippi Ocean Springs police. Okay? Not just in Mississippi, specifically Ocean Springs. But I don't trust any of the police anywhere in Mississippi. None of us should. Okay, if you look like me. So that's why they said they would do a joint venture when their people, as well as law enforcement, can together look at the phone and see what's in there. Because who's going to trust them? They may try to, get rid of evidence. Who knows? Okay, because clearly they're not working at the behest of the Wonsleys. And if they were, they'd surely have arrested at least one person for making those threats against the family, but they've arrested 3 for the other side. So please make that make sense. I wouldn't give it to them either. Okay, they'd have to pry it out of my hands. Period. Now, with that all being said, just to further prove that Rage Tatum is nothing but a lying piece of ish, and he's the one that's a grifter. Okay? Civil rights attorneys file civil rights lawsuits for wrongful death. Okay? That's what they do. That's their job. So why is it making him a grifter? Because that's the law that he decided to practice. Tatum is the grifter. He wants to sit there and act like, oh, I'm not being biased. I'm just trying to get to the truth. No, you're absolutely being biased, because he acts as though everything that those young men tell him is the gospel. But then as soon as someone who looks like him says something, he has all these questions. Okay, and he has so much to say. And also, please pay attention to how he's very respectful when talking to Nancy Grace, even when she's dragging him. But when he has a black person on his show, or he's on a show where there's another black person who has a contrary opinion to him, he's very disrespectful and rude and belligerent with them. Okay, please pay attention. Let's not forget the video I showed you of him getting all ghetto, talking about he was going to beat somebody's ASS. Okay, and then calling them an NIGG. Okay, yeah. He did all that. Okay, please pay attention. But now let's go to the proof that he's just a liar who lies, because he lied and said those boys took polygraph tests or something that was the equivalent to it.
Have the friends taken polygraphs?
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph, and from what was told to me that they all passed, and all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer, and they cooperated with law enforcement. So from my understanding, everybody took a polygraph test. Why do you say that's from what you
understand? Did they tell you they took a poly and passed?
Yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there, so that's what I'm saying. From my understanding,
to clear up this matter, have your clients taken polygraphs? First to you, Tyler Cox.
Nancy, my clients have not taken a polygraph test.
Okay, they didn't take any darn tests, and he's just sitting up there lying, as per usual. Just making up stuff as he goes. Let's go to the next clip. Now, pay attention to how these young men are talking during this interview.
Wait, Nolan Wells' friends just dropped another interview with officer, whatever his name is, and I think they just exposed and messed up their alibi. And it wasn't Warren. I think he was pissed. I think it was Jax. So in this interview, they talk about where they were at on the boat. And it seems to be a little discrepancy between what Jax thought and what Warren thought. This case is unraveling, man. Like, listen to this.
where are you guys at when this happens? As far as from Horn Island to the mainland, where are you guys at in between there?
So we're probably a mile and a half off of Horn, I'd say, a mile off Horn.
From the start where the Now, Jack says when they were on the phone with Cito, they were about a mile and a half out. But that would place them far enough where nobody could see them, right? But the picture that officer, whatever his name is, dropped, y'all know that picture in the boat where it's panning back and forth. They are saying that is supposed to be the picture, but that keeps their alibi in place because that picture is not a mile and a half away, supposedly, from Horn Island. Listen to the correction.
Well, from the start where the Cito call was, we were probably about a quarter mile off the island. Like you could see, it's visible in the picture that you posted that Wyatt is on the Cito call, and it's that video of the boat panning, of the video of the boat getting panned, and you can see everybody in the boat. If you look in the background, the island's right there. So, I mean, going back to like what you said earlier, if we killed somebody or hurt somebody, the whole island is literally not even a quarter of a mile away to see, with hundreds of boats lined up on the island. So
now, as you can see, it seems like Warren jumped in like, you idiot. We were only a quarter mile out. Remember, that picture is our alibi saying that how will we unalive Nolan with all these people watching? Now, was it a mile and a half or a quarter mile? That is a big difference. You don't know, you know the difference between a mile and a half and a quarter mile. And then that ain't it. So after Warren corrects him, you can see the attitude on Jack's face and what he says once Warren corrects him.
All I had to say about that.
Yeah. So we
were about a quarter mile out.
So we were about a quarter mile out, whatever. So they pull the.
I don't think Jax was too happy about being correct. You see, he said, whatever. But this story is getting crazier and crazier. I think they should stop doing interviews. That interview is available on Officer, whatever his name is, YouTube right now. They just
Okay, now that little bit of distance made a big deal because clearly if they were that close to shore, then, you know, they're saying that people would have seen them. Well, I think what Jack said was more accurate. Okay, about a mile and a half, not a quarter mile. Warren, please sit down somewhere. Also, I think it's important to note that now they're coming out saying that they have multiple witnesses who saw Nolan after, you know, they supposedly left at around 6 o'clock. First, they said it was 2 witnesses. The first person we heard say that I do believe was Warren. Then the attorney came out and said it, but now he's saying multiple people. So now that he said multiple, is he still talking about the same 2 or is it more? But here's the thing that Nancy Grace said to him when he told her that load of BS. Nancy Grace said that, you know, basically she'd want to know if those people that saw him were friends with the clients. Okay. Yeah. She said, I want to know if those people that saw him, that these witnesses are friends with your clients, because I bet you they are. Okay. Absolutely. And here's another thing that I find interesting. If there were so many people out there, as everybody keeps saying, as we've clearly seen, hundreds of people out there, right? So only 2 people saw Nolan. Only 2 of those people out of all of those hundreds of people out there, when they left and Nolan was supposedly still there according to them, well, only 2 people saw him. What about the lady who said that she parked right next to them and she left at 7:30 and Nolan was nowhere in sight? What about that? Yeah. Okay, nobody saw Nolan out there at 6. I'm willing to bet money on it because Nolan died on that boat. Okay, he died on that boat, on Bart's boat. Let's get into it. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, but before I get into that, let me say this. Also, it's important to note that I knew I had seen that name somewhere before, Edward Andrew Paltzik, and I thought, well, maybe because I was reporting on politics a whole lot and on Trump specifically, but that's definitely where I saw it. He's the one that filed the CBS lawsuit, CBS Paramount lawsuit for Trump and others. But also, he was the same attorney in the Ashley Janae case. You all remember Ashley Janae, right? The young, beautiful lady who went to Africa, Tanzania to be exact. Y'all remember this young lady? Well, that was her. I'm just going to go out on a limb. Well, I'll say alleged, but the person who we think took her up out of here, Joe McCann, that's his lawyer. Joe McCann's lawyer, Edward Andrew Paltzik, tells TMZ authorities in Tanzania returned Joe's American passport to him yesterday after he returned or remained in Tanzania for nearly a month while cooperating with authorities. So yeah, he must be Mr. Fix-It. When you got white folk that are accused of murking black folk, here he comes to the rescue. Okay, that's what it's given. That's what it's given. But now that we've got that, and Queen, do you have any moderators in the chat? They're probably not up this early, beloved, or the ones that are likely going to work. Why? Do you see a troll? Just tell me who the trolls are. I can deal with them myself. Who's the troll? Let me know. Okay, I'm not going to. I find it all so interesting. But let's continue.
Around 4:30 that afternoon, one of the boats experienced some problems with its bilge pump and started taking on water. One of the individuals on that boat called my client and asked for help. He proceeded to give help, in part by getting on the transom of the boat and helping to remove the plug at the back of the transom of that boat. For people that don't boat, that may not make, that may not be something they understand. But literally, they were just opening up a hole so water would drain out, is the short way of saying this. And then my client got back on the boat that he was piloting and towed the other vessel for a short distance, allowing that water to run off.
From the console, and it trimmed down.
So that's what he did? Oh, okay. He must have done that before Nolan died on his boat, according to you.
And then it come right back up. And so Wyatt's trying to throw a rear anchor, so we're caught, and he's, yelling at people. Everybody's kind of freaking out. And eventually I'm like yelling at other people, trying to tell them, calm down. Like, the boat could possibly sink, and I'm not paying attention to everyone around me. I was paying attention to my buddy's boat. And that's what all my other friends that were on that boat were doing, trying to solve the problem.
So you're on the boat now. The water is getting up to the point where the boat may be disabled to where you couldn't get it out from Horn Island. So what happens after that?
Wyatt jumps to the water, tries to throw a rear anchor, and my buddy Meyer, you're sitting looking, trying to pull trash out the bilge. And the bilge is basically a pump that pulls the excess water out the boat. So the bilge was failing to work. So any excess water was just sitting in the boat. It wasn't getting pumped out. And I looked over the gunnel and I looked at the release hole for the bilge, and it was even with the water. So, I mean, we're all freaking out. All of our, we're not focused on anything else other than the boat. Well, then eventually my buddy Bart on the tide line is like, I'm going to pull y'all out to where we're out of all this, all this chaos. Cause we left at 4:30 and there were still just as many people there, if not more than when we got there. I mean, probably around the same amount. I mean, it was crazy. Like there was a lot of people. And, I mean, eventually Bart pulls us out. We left at 4:30, but we really weren't pulled out away from everybody. We were probably about a quarter mile out, and we had the towing strap pulled from, Bart's port side cleat or starboard side cleat, and he was on our starboard side bow. And so it was rubbing on his power pole. So Bart turned around, pulled up next to our boat, and we were just trying to get it situated. So that's when Wyatt called CETO.
Right? You're out in the ocean 10 miles out. Are you safe? Is everybody okay? Caller says yes. We were told different things about this, but here's the truth of the matter. Within a matter of minutes, the tow company calls a local captain closer to the area and explains the situation. We've got a boat, bilge pump stopped working. They're taking on water. They need a tow. Can you help? Captain says, yep, headed out that way. No worries. Before he can get there, the caller from Horn Island calls back and says, hey, we don't need a local guy out here helped us. Don't need a tow.
A Triton 24 footer, but that's all he can give me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And he said,
okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and their boat won't crank.
Yeah, they're in a panic. He's saying the bilge is not keeping up. I asked for Coast Guard. He said no, but he's just really upset on the back end. And, I get it. It's a kid. He just doesn't understand.
You know why I find this also interesting? Because, in case you're wondering, because I see a lot of people asking, why would these lawyers be allowing their clients to do these interviews? Why would they allow it? Because, yes, it may look surprising, because the usual legal advice during an active investigation is to say as little as possible, specifically publicly. Okay, but there are legitimate strategic reasons why attorneys might allow or even encourage a client to give interviews. Now, here's the thing. The key distinction is that an attorney generally doesn't literally control whenever a client speaks. The attorney advises the client about the risk, and the client themselves ultimately decide. But here's the thing. An attorney might permit interviews because, number one, the client is not considered a suspect. If the person is viewed primarily as a witness, the lawyer may basically believe carefully controlled interviews present relatively little criminal exposure. So maybe their lawyers know that they're not suspects. Of course they know it. Okay, of course they know it, and they know it too. That's why they're so willing to come out here and do these interviews. and try to do damage control at the same time. That's the main reason, is for damage control, and because they know how they're being judged right now in the court of public opinion. Now, they also may realize that they're not going to get any serious consequences criminally, but the bottom line is they don't want people to be looking at them with a whole side eye for the rest of their lives. The second reason is the lawyer may want to shape the public narrative. Well, of course, that's what it is. I told you all that weeks ago, or, I told you that they're trying to control the narrative. This is why Judge Ashley Cole came out and gave those two statements, because that's what she was trying to do. She was trying to do damage control and at the same time control the narrative. Okay, they started doing interviews for the same reason. And now they have these attorneys, and the attorney even showed up, at the interview. So anyway, the next thing is, well, not just because they're trying to control the public narrative or shape it, if it's a highly publicized case, silence can leave accusations, rumors, or competing accounts unanswered. And that's exactly what's going on, because in fact, it is a highly publicized case and there are accusations and rumors. An interview gives the client the opportunity to put their own version on the record. But in this case, well, the record's scratched because they started talking too much and started revealing things that we all know they should have kept to themselves. Now, the client has already spoken extensively. That could be another reason. Once numerous statements are public, the attorney may decide that a structured interview is preferable to spontaneous comments on social media or to reporters. And then also the interview is tightly controlled. Okay, just like it is, okay, because Tatum is clearly leading the questions, all right? And I'm sure he's given them the questions prior to the interviews, just in my opinion. So the attorney may negotiate topics beforehand, attend the interview, which their attorney absolutely did. Okay, Edward Andrew Paltzik, he absolutely sat right there with his baseball cap and all. Okay, they may prepare the client extensively or instruct the client not to answer certain questions. Now, there may be a civil or reputational strategy. The attorney may be concerned not only about criminal exposure, but also lawsuits, employment consequences, public reputation, or even harassment. The attorney believes the client's account is consistent with the evidence. So if counsel knows substantially more than the public does, the perceived risk may be different from what viewers assume. Okay, so please pay attention. This is why they're out here doing these interviews, because they want to control the narrative and they don't think they're going to get in any trouble. Okay, they really don't. They already know that the cards are stacked in their favor. That's exactly what they know. Okay, that's exactly what they know. Please pay attention. And you all telling me to save this video. Of course, I'm going to save this clip. Of course, I'm going to save it because, first of all, like I told you all, this is the same lawyer talking about suing people for defamation. Okay, then he comes out and says the client, that the person died on his client's boat. Yeah, well, thanks for telling us. Okay, thanks for letting us know. And I absolutely believe it. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this clip that I thought was a bit strange. They were all sitting up here laughing and giggling and snickering because they said that Nolan, when he would be at Wyatt's house, he would always be hanging out with Wyatt's father, and that their favorite movie was Scarface or whatever.
Every social media post on Nolan's Instagram or Facebook or anything else, the only people in it are us and his football guys. Like that's just so real. Every time Nolan's in Starkville, he's with us. Every time Nolan's anywhere, not even just Starkville, but anywhere.
Oh yeah, we went on countless vacations
From
and
prom, homecoming, everything. Nolan's with us because we were his friends. It's not that hard to understand. I mean, I don't have to prove this to anybody, but that's the truth. I don't have to.
You don't have to prove it. Look at them. They're getting cocky. I want you all to pay attention. They're getting cocky. Okay, please pay attention. Oh, he was our friend. That's what it was. Yeah, he's in all these pictures with us. All the stuff on his social media. Yeah, okay, that's true. But he thought you all were his friends because clearly you're not. Anybody that would call his mother a blatant liar is not his friend and never was. Miss me with it. Okay? But let's continue.
For my friendship. These guys feel the same way. We don't have to prove our friendship with Nolan, but I know it's right.
So was Nolan around your family then?
Oh, yeah. Nolan was always around our houses. I mean, I can even say this. Nolan and Wyatt's dad had a secret friendship that we weren't even in.
Yeah, they were like best friends.
We would go over to Wyatt's house, and Nolan, we would all be in the backyard, whatever, doing something, and Nolan would be inside on the couch with Wyatt's dad, and they would just be cutting it up all night.
Yeah, watching movies together. Like
Scarface is their favorite movie.
Yeah.
They'd watch Scarface
all the time.
But it really shows you like the effect like all this has had on everybody, not including just our friend group, but like our friends' parents and my parents. Like our friends were really and families were really close with Nolan. And I mean, this has been a horrible tragedy, not just for us, but for our families and friends too. My mom knew Nolan because she used to drive us from Waffle House to school once a week. My stepdad knew Nolan because he used to drive us. My dad, everybody, like,
and he would always
go look on.
Well, that's so interesting because if your parents were so good, so concerned about Nolan and such good friends of his, why the hell didn't your parents, any of your parents, offer a ride on their boat to Nolan's father and mother? Why did they do that? Okay, why did they do that rather than shutting you all up, closing down their social media and all the other BS that they did? Like, miss us with it, okay? Miss us with it. Now they think they're cooking with grease, but what they're really doing is exposing themselves. And I absolutely love it for them that Bart's attorney came out and said the young man died tragically on my client's boat. I will never forget those words. I couldn't believe it when I heard him say it. I said, wait a minute, what now? Did he say what I think that he just said after he's talking about suing all these people online for defamation? You literally just told us what happened, and thanks for it. Okay, but now let's go to this next clip. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And this is some strange talking going on in this clip as well, in my opinion.
In jail yet. I mean, we're not geniuses. Wyatt's on the phone with Cito in that clip. I mean, he's on the phone. Wouldn't you think that you would have seen Nolan on the bottom of on the floor or something?
We did. We did see him on the floor or something. We saw his damn hand or his foot or something darting up. Y'all hear this, right? You don't think you would have seen Nolan on the floor or something? Yeah, we did. We saw his hand. We saw some part of him from the looks of it.
Or scrambling around, or everybody in a small space on the boat looking at him or something. I mean that.
Yeah, we did. We saw the guy in the blue shorts. Let's go back to the footage. Yeah, we saw the guy in the blue shorts. Absolutely. We saw him absolutely looking at him. Okay? Yeah, we sure did. See how they're telling on themselves? And it's so interesting because the things that they're telling on themselves about, the things that they're saying, and I'm going to tell you all momentarily why he's sitting up there and why he would say that. Okay, what would make him say that? I'm going to tell you shortly. Hold on. Now let's go back to this video again. Because pay attention to what everything that he said is right here in the video. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Now look at this. He said, don't you think that someone would have seen Nolan scrambling around on the floor of the boat?
Hand comes up as the rope being tugged. Now, let me tell you what to look for. Okay, first and foremost, you're going to see the.
I'm just going to fast forward it so y'all can see the hand.
And it's brown, melanated. One more time. The rope being tugged. Rope coming across the front of the boot body, angled down in front of teal shorts, in front of blue shorts, down to the ground. Pay attention between blue shorts and the guy sitting down. You're going to see something brown pop up. There it is. There it is. There it is. And it's going to go back down. And then what you're going to see, watch the guy right here with the blue shorts staring straight ahead. Look straight down. He's going to look right down at it. You see that? So the giveaway is the guy with the red beads tugging on the rope, the angle of the rope coming in front of teal shorts' body, going down to where blue shorts is standing. So blue shorts is standing where he is, but there's something in front of him, and he can't help but look at it after the rope is tugged. Teal shorts is standing on the ledge because he can't stand on the floor because there's something right there. The girl in the back can't stand on the floor either. And the guy with the rope is not standing on the floor. Look again. Pay attention. Look at blue shorts. Look at the brown object comes up. There it is. Look at blue shorts. Now look at it. He's looking directly at it.
Okay, I think we've seen enough. They're literally telling on themselves in real time, and I'm absolutely here for all of it. Okay, And he said they're not geniuses. Well, you got that right. But you know what else is interesting? The fact that he said they couldn't have gotten away with a murder because they're not geniuses. Why would you say that? You know what he could have said? We wouldn't commit murder. We're not killers. Okay, he could have said that. But he said we couldn't have gotten away with murder. We're not geniuses. How about saying you're not that evil? You're not that heinous. You're not that diabolical. You're not that depraved. You would never commit murder. Why not say that? But instead of saying any of those choices, he chose to say, we're not geniuses. Okay, please pay attention. Let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
It's just so crazy to think that, why would we call CETO if we have a dead body on the boat? I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? You know, why would we?
Because you canceled the tow and you said you didn't need the Coast Guard. That's why. Okay, please.
Do the things we did if we know we killed somebody. And then another following up on that is, why aren't we in jail yet? I mean, we're not geniuses. There's no way we could have done a murder. I mean, there's no way we could have covered it up, especially out there with that many people.
Now I want you to pay attention. Look at how Warren is looking at him when he says that. He looks like he took a deep breath. Look how they're both looking at him like, dude, shut up.
Good.
I think, especially about the CETO call, I think people, regardless of...
Everybody's restless in their seats. And look at how all of them have their hands clasped together, folded. What did I tell you all the other day when I did the analysis of the body language? Look how all of them have their hands clasped together. Okay? The lawyer, look how he has his arms folded. These are all, the lawyer definitely is a defensive posture. And this right here, what they're doing is a nervousness and trying to control or, be careful of what they say. But clearly this shows that they're stressed. Okay, they're not relaxed and calm at all. They're stressed the hell out. And you would notice them do this or have a, like glance at each other, give eye contact and things like that when there was a question for them that was a little bit problematic. Okay, for example, the questions about the call. Okay, the CETO call that really made them fidget in their seats.
Who it is going to believe what they want to hear.
Since we're asking questions, I have a couple of my own. Did you know that when recounting memories, people often repeat the physical experience of that memory? For instance, if you live down the street, you may point toward the direction of your house. If you remember seeing mountains to your right, you might place those mountains to the right when telling a friend about it later. And just one more question. What time did the CETO call happen? And what time was the picture taken? Because I thought you said you left at 4:30 because that's when you got the boat fixed. So wouldn't the CETO call have to have happened before that?
There's nothing. What's timestamp on that video?
But that's not our burden. See, that's the problem. You're putting this burden on us, all right? There's never been one piece of evidence.
You did that to yourself, Paul, when you said, here's the boat that day and he's not on it. That may very well be true. That may be absolutely true. And I'm saying, when was the video taken?
Well, no, I'm telling you.
Around 4:30, July 4th.
Yeah.
Why aren't we in jail yet? I mean, we're not geniuses. Why it's on the phone with CETO.
Their whole story is unraveling piece by piece, okay? It's totally unraveling piece by piece. And they're getting caught in all these lies and the stories don't make sense or add up. Now, let me just tell you why these liars would get on here and do these interviews. Because it's really pathetic. But I'm glad they're doing it because they're making themselves look like the liars that they absolutely are. Okay, so... And here's the thing, too. Don't forget how I told you that when someone is telling a story and they're giving all these extra details that no one asks for, they're usually lying. This is what liars do, okay? This is what liars tend to do to try to make the story more convincing. Lying is one of the most complex cognitive and social behaviors that humans can engage in. Please pay attention. Now, while some liars are, simple one-word denials, many deceptive accounts take the form of elaborate, richly detailed narratives. These overly detailed stories, characterized by an abundance of unnecessary peripheral specifics, represent one of the most common verbal deception strategies identified in forensic psychology research. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Now, and I'm reading you this from peer-reviewed information. Now, mind you, there's a parrot who likes to mimic my talking points, and they'll say, "Oh, peer-reviewed research," but knowing good and well they have no access to it. Now, that being said, when a person fabricates an account, they often unconsciously or deliberately pad their narrative with granular details about time, location, sensory experiences, and peripheral characters. The instinct driving this behavior is straightforward. You see, more details creates an illusion of vividness and authenticity that makes the listener less likely to question the core claims. Okay, please pay attention. Now, mind you, research in deception science has consistently identified excessive detail as a reliable verbal indicator of fabrication. Okay, and by the way, there was a landmark meta-analysis by a person by the name of Vashuri Bogard, if I'm not mistaken, and Meyer. And what they found during this study was that truth tellers provided significantly more verifiable details, verifiable details, and higher proportion of verifiable details than liars across 28 studies. You see, this distinction between verifiable and unverifiable detail is one of the most powerful tools available for statement analysis. All right? And so, mind you, it's important to note that no single indicator, including narrative detail, is guaranteed that a person is lying. Deception detection is most accurate when multiple cues are assessed together by trained professionals using established protocols. All right, including psychophysiological detection of deception, known as PDD. Now, with that all being said, here's the thing. They said unless there's multiple things, and there are multiple things in these instances. Okay, we can look at their body language. We can look at how they give each other eye contact when they're worried if they're going to keep the story straight, because that's what it looks like. We can also go by the fact that the lawyer, J. Tyler Cox, didn't he say, in fact, that these boys have kept their stories together? Yeah, that's what he said. They kept their stories straight. They didn't snitch. That's what he said. These lawyers are just ridiculous to me, to be saying these sorts of things. But also, creating a lie that remains internally consistent and externally plausible over multiple tellings is very difficult. In fact, it's extraordinarily difficult. You see, a liar must simultaneously invent a plausible alternative version of events. Suppress the actual memory of what happened, remember the fabricated version precisely enough to repeat it, anticipate follow-up questions, and have prepared answers. They have to also monitor the listener's reactions for any signs of suspicion and maintain emotional congruence with the fabricated narrative. Now, that's a whole lot. So when you're sitting up here telling these lies, because that's what they're doing, when you're sitting up here telling these lies during an interview that millions of people just may see, you're trying your best to be disciplined and to remember the story that you're supposed to tell. But at the end of the day, if you know that story is not true and you saw and know what the real truth is, sometimes they become conflated. Sometimes you accidentally say something that happened in the real story. That's what it looks like happened with them up there on that stage. And that's also what it seems to have happened to Bart's attorney Russell Latino. Please pay attention. So, the bottom line is deceptive individuals frequently modify their stories depending on who they're speaking to. A person might tell one version to a spouse, another to a friend, and yet another to a coworker. Each adaptation introduces the risk of contradictory details. Now, in their cases, they've given contradictory, specifically Warren. Let me just say Warren has given contradictory details to the same person. okay, during different interviews. Now, and even in some cases during the same interview, during that first interview, he really said a whole lot of stuff that just didn't add up and was very contradictory of himself and even what Trayston said. Okay, now when these narratives eventually converge through conversations between the different parties, the contradictions become apparent. When liars sense their story is being questioned, they often make real-time modification to address perceived weaknesses. Now, that's what I want you all to pay attention to. Let me read that again. When liars sense their story is being questioned, they often make real-time modifications to address perceived weaknesses. Now, see, this is what I was telling you all about yesterday. I believe it was. When I said that, it seems like everything that we said that they didn't do, specifically Warren, when the things that we said he didn't do in the first interview, it seemed like he tried to come back and compensate for it in the next interview. Remember how we said he didn't show any empathy, sympathy, didn't seem to be choked up at all, just talked about it, like he was talking about what he had for dinner. Well, he kind of did the same thing, except in the end of the interview. The last part that Brandon Tatum posted yesterday, that's when you hear them talking about, oh, they miss Nolan, oh, he was this person and that, and they start talking with trying to show emotional attachment to Nolan. Now that didn't happen before. Even when Warren went to Horn Island with Tatum, he didn't show any emotion then. He took the last words that Tatum told him to speak. He said, is there anything you want to say or anything you want people to know or something along those lines? And he said, yeah, you can see, you can go from a 17-foot drop straight to a 31-foot drop. And there you can see it right there. And he's pointing it out. What are you talking about? He's trying to make us be convinced that maybe he just drowned. Okay, that's why he was doing all of that. But now in the last video clip, they're all three sitting there talking about how much Nolan meant to them and all of that. And Warren is, saying a lot more than he thinks that he never said in the other one, like, as far as his concern for Nolan and all of that. So clearly trying to modify whatever they messed up in real time. Now, these defensive adjustments can introduce new inconsistencies, and that's exactly what happened, because the liar is essentially improvising under pressure. Okay, a person who initially claimed to be home alone might suddenly remember that a roommate was also present, hoping this detail adds credibility. However, the roommate's own account may not corroborate this addition, creating a new discrepancy. So understanding how these liars operate and the deceptive tactics they use and why can also help you to spot them. Okay, please pay attention. I know a liar when I hear one. That's all I'm saying. So with that all being said, hold on. I have a couple of more clips that I want to go to. Now, I want you all to look at this clip up close before I put an overlay on it. Look at how both Warren and Morgan are looking at him. See, you can see it a little better right here. See that? Look how they're looking at him. Okay, and also it at one point looked as if Warren bumped him with his knee, like to tell him to shut up. Now, I don't know if he did. It looked like it. Maybe it was just, he just accidentally did it. But I'd be willing to bet that he probably was trying to tell him to shut the hell up.
Like, wouldn't you think that you would have seen Nolan on the bottom of on the floor or something, or scrambling around, or everybody in a pot, like in a small space on the boat looking at him or something? I mean, it's just so crazy to think that. Why would we call Cito if we have a dead body on the boat? I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? Why would we do the things we did if we know we killed somebody? And then another following up on that is,
how they're looking at him.
Why aren't we in jail yet? I mean, we're not geniuses. There's no way we could have done a murder. I mean, there's no way we could have covered it up, especially out there with that many people. Go ahead. Wouldn't you think that you would have seen Nolan on the bottom of?
Straight up lying. And here's the thing. Now, I have to wonder, because Nolan was likely on that boat. Okay, I think that what we saw moving on the floor of the boat was absolutely Nolan. I believe it was his hand, possibly. But now, someone sent me a video from Taylor House Publishing where he had the same video. Hold on. But on his video, I'm going to go to it. And shout out to Taylor House Publishing for doing his due diligence on this story. Okay. But it looks like someone is literally trying to hold him down. So let's go to the footage. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And somebody sent me this late last night. I have to go back to remember who. Hold on. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, anyway, I'll have to remember later. Okay, so now look at this.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we have a smoking gun. Or as the scripture says, all things hidden will be revealed and those things done in secret will be exposed on the mountaintop. Now, this is a still shot from the video that Officer Race Tatum Ruckus put out trying to exonerate the white boys in the death of Nolan Wells. But if you look right here, you see that there is clearly a white hand on that brown body part, which appears in the video really quickly, and then it goes back down as if it was being pulled down. Now, I'm going to show you the video at full speed, but just let's take a look at some more of these angles. And shout out to the brother who slowed my video down from yesterday and pointed it out. There you clearly see two white fingers and a white hand holding down that brown body part, whether it's a arm, a leg, or something. And here is once again the wide view where it appears in the picture. I'm going to show you the video itself. And there you see it again. Now, that is unmistakably a white hand and a brown body part, which shows up.
Hold on. B182 says, on the CETO call in the background, it sounds like a woman asked, is he dead? And a woman answered, yes, don't worry, it's all planned. Hence the calmness. I didn't notice that, beloved. I'll have to listen to it again. But thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, I'm going to remove this from the screen so we can make sure we don't miss what he's about to show.
In this video, peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. Let's take a look at this video. And this video was actually from Nancy Grace's show last night, in which it had the lawyers on trying to once again exonerate them, saying Nolan Wells was not on the boat. And actually, when this picture arises, you're going to hear that lawyer stutter because they know way more than what they think we know. But look at this video as well. Now you see, this is the video that they are showing, and I'm going to play it. But once again, I'm going to zoom in right here so you can see it. So we zoomed in, and now we're going to scroll all the way down. And once again, you can see that body part, a brown body part, maybe a
clearly looks like a hand or a
foot, maybe an arm, maybe an elbow, but you can clearly see two white hands pulling it down. Now let's zoom back out and play the video.
Nolan being on the boat, of something happening to Nolan. I cannot state clearly.
Right there. You see it come up and go back down.
Of mention of Nolan being on the boat, of something happening to Nolan. I cannot state clearly.
Right there. I was able to stop it right there. You see that brown part come up?
Enough,
and
Nolan was not on the boat when it departed around 4:30.
Right there. It did it again. So it's clearly something being pulled up and pulled down. And you see those guys looking down, and the other guy, somebody even mentioned it looks like he's holding a pistol. right there in his right hand. It looks like he is holding a pistol. Somebody said it may be a flare gun.
Look, the video that you're showing.
See, he's stuttering.
Now, does anyone look like, and look, there's the boy.
Right there. See, look, it comes up right there. And see, this is where he's trying to talk over it, hoping we don't see it.
That's on the seat.
See, he starts stuttering. He starts stuttering. And once again, we're going to wind it back and zoom in. You see that right there? Right there. Right there. And once again, we're going to zoom right back in because I want people to see this clearly, that this is not AI. I'm not making it up.
I'm 52 years old, and I'm
Now you can't see it clear from this angle, but you can definitely see something is pulling up. And once again, what is that in his hand? Maybe that's a gun where they're threatening Nolan from getting up. Now, to me, this is unmistakable, undeniable, irrefutable proof that
I find it funny that he's saying that people will be looking down. There's a
right there. Now, once again, that this is in her video. Once again, let's zoom in on this video.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there because I'm glad other people noticed this because I showed you all this days ago and I enlarged it so you could see it. So there it is. Okay, we can easily conclude that that looked like a body part, a hand or a foot, and it was the same complexion as Nolan's skin. Now, here's the question though. So if that was Nolan, which I believe it was, then he was on Wyatt's boat. Remember when Trayson said during the interview with Rage Tatum that he was walking to his boat and then he saw Nolan and he dapped him up and he made a joke with him about the girl and then he said Nolan was walking towards Wyatt's boat. And I told you all then, I said he's placing Nolan right there at that boat. So that means Nolan was on that damn boat. I find it all so interesting. Now, with that all being said, I think I have one more clip and then I'm out of here until later. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Xavier Wells update. And Nancy on the case, Grace, had those two cocks, the lawyers, on her show. And here's what they had to say.
But I can tell you that. I can tell you, look at those photos. Nolan Wells is not on that boat.
The photos to me are very convincing. Let's see the photo they're talking about again.
Yes, I'm glad we agree about that. I'm glad we agree.
Do I know what time that was or what day that was? Is there a timestamp?
Yes, can we get a timestamp? Because I'm getting a mental cramp from all this verbal diarrhea rant. Where's the timestamp?
When was that taken? Where was it taken? What time was it taken?
Yeah.
I'm curious. Is it timestamped?
Hey, Nancy, you've been trying this case for over 30 days. The facts are the facts are the facts.
Yes, we get this that you've been stalling out for 30 days and the facts are the facts are the facts, but where are the facts, the facts, the facts?
These boys had nothing to do with the death of Nolan Wells.
Okay, listen, when was the timestamp on that video?
Nancy, I'm going to answer it this way.
They did not want to give the timestamp on that video. I wonder why. Okay, I absolutely wonder why. But now, before we conclude the broadcast, let's go to this video of this activist group, Mississippi Rising Coalition, when they went to inquire about the transparency, okay, of the Nolan Wells case. Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
I mean, we were just trying to figure out, I know you guys said there's no, they're not releasing any information about anything. We understand that. would you be able to tell us who made that decision?
Who made the
Because
decision?
that's important.
Okay, just all I can tell you is at this time, regarding the investigation, that no information will be released. That's just the information I'm able to give you from our office. So that's what I'm able to.
So they basically told you you can say these
That's
sentence,
just what I'm.
and that's all you're allowed to say.
I'm just telling you, related to that investigation, that's what I'm able to tell you, that no information is being released.
But there's no policy information you can give us regarding.
I can answer questions on how process work, not related to a particular case.
Yeah.
If you want to know anything about like the criminal process, the things like that, I can answer that, but I can't answer anything related to a particular investigation.
Gotcha, yeah.
And that's not just that case, that's any case that our office has. I won't be able to answer questions pertaining to a particular investigation.
So it's the blanket practice of this office not to communicate with the public about any case, period?
Yeah, I'm not going to release any information pertaining to a case that's...
So no press conferences ever from this office?
I'm not in charge of making that decision. I'm just answering the question that you have for us.
So you said you would answer questions about the process. Who is in charge of making that decision?
When I say answer questions about the process, if you have any questions about the criminal process, how things work when between the criminal process, someone's arrested and this and that, I can answer those questions, but I won't answer anything related to a particular investigation.
Understood.
So that's all.
Yeah.
Is it possible for us to make an appointment with this district attorney herself?
I can get your information and I can give that to her assistant, and you all can communicate that way.
Okay, yeah, that would be great.
Let's do that.
I mean, we were just trying to figure out, I know you guys said.
Okay, clearly the runaround. Now, with that all been said, let's go to this last clip. I know I said that was the last one, but I forgot about this guy who brings up Katie and one of her friends, and he wants to know why the friend hasn't come out and said anything, because he says that she was there during the 4th of July.
You're withholding evidence. Katie McCormick, you posted this picture, right? But it's actually a video. But you helped me out. You see this girl right here? You see her bathing suit, red lines and polka dotted blue and white. Took me forever to find her, but thanks to Nevaeh, there she is. This was July 22nd. I can't confirm if Nevaeh was there that day. This was in 2025. Just couldn't find anything, and there she was again. But this time in a blue bathing suit. I'm thinking, who is this girl? They're not tagging her. She's not liking any of the posts. There she is again. And we know that Nevaeh is Katie's best friend, right? And that's allegedly. But they do take a lot of photos together. A lot. I can't confirm if Nevaeh was there July 4th, 2026. But I can confirm allegedly Kendall was there July 4th, 2026. And I think, well, that says July 5th, 2025. It's the bathing suit, y'all. The bathing suit. So then that would place Kendall McMahon near Nolan Wells in the same friend group, allegedly around the same time, July 4th, 2026, because this photo is July 4th, 2026. So then that leaves you, Kendall. Why haven't you spoken out? You know, your name hasn't even come up, but you were there that day, allegedly, right? I mean, from far away and close up, it matches with the hair and the bathing suit. Thanks to her, look at this hand with the beads on it. Kind of reminds me of, those beads. If we know anything, she loves to accessorize. Katie tried to hide details, but I got you. Here's a clear photo of it. I found her because Kendall's friends with Nevaeh, and Nevaeh is friends with Katie. So then allegedly, would that mean all three was on the boat July 4th, 2026? And if that's the case, why hasn't the other two girls come out and give a statement? So allegedly, if this is you, did Nolan Wells get on the boat with his so-called friends, or did he stay back with Katie? We want to hear your side.
Okay, I find it all very interesting. Okay, the truth is coming to light, you all. And also, I want to tell you all, sadly, that there was another black man that was hung. Okay, there was another black man that was hung. I hate to give you all this news, but this is absolutely the case. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. We're going to talk about it. Then I'm out of here. You all see these people? All of these people were found hung. Okay, in the past year. Okay, in the past year. All right. Trey Reed, Demontravius Trey Reed, they found him September of 2025. So that's almost a year ago. Now, this was right after Charlie Kirk's death, if you remember, because he was supposedly defending a young lady who was talking trash about Charlie Kirk. But with that all being said, let's talk about the young man who died. And it's just being reported yesterday. This young man was found dead from hanging back in June. Back in June. So I want you all to pay attention to something. This man was found dead back in June. And we're just now hearing about it with all of the social media information we're able to get and obtain. The devils can still hide things, but usually it's only for so long, okay, until we get wind of it. So let's talk about it. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to share his picture on the screen. This is him right here. Cedric Teyuhi. He was from the Congo. Okay, he was Congolese, just like Juliana Zeta. Okay, just like Juliana Zeta. So let's talk about it. So a 36-year-old Black Congolese man whose infectious laughter lit up every room was found hanging from a tree in June. Cedric Tayuhi was found dead in Harrisburg, North Carolina, roughly 15 miles northeast of Charlotte, under circumstances that the Cabarrus County Sheriff's Office says are inconsistent with self-deletion. I'm sorry, are consistent with self-deletion. So they're saying he did it to himself, just as they always say. Now, according to the police report, the department sent to the North Carolina beat on Saturday, June the 6th, or the report the department sent to the North Carolina beat on Saturday, June the 6th of 2026 at approximately 6:58 a.m. They say that deputies responded to Harris Depot Park on Harris Depot Road in Harrisburg, okay, North Carolina at 28075 in reference to a deceased body inside the park. Shout out to North Carolina Beat for reporting this. Now, they go on to say the report did not detail exactly how Tahuye was discovered, but the sheriff's department did not deny that he was found hanging from a tree when we reached out for comment. Officials emphasized that they conducted a thorough investigation on the date of the discovery and have followed up with additional investigative steps since. The department did not offer any information on the additional investigative steps. The case remains open pending the medical examiner's final findings, and this is according to the sheriff's department. Let me tell you something. It already sounds sketchy. Because first of all, if they were doing a real investigation and they were trying to be transparent as they claim, well, we would have known about this before now. This happened all the way back in June. They said because the case is still pending, they said they are unable to release any investigative findings or information about any related evidence. A service was held for Tahuye on June the 19th at House of Rosedale Home of Funerals in Charlotte. The family has made a heartbreaking decision and they are bringing him home. So in a GoFundMe launched by Eunice Tahuye, the family wrote that after careful consideration, they chose to repatriate Cedric's remains to Lubumbashi, Democratic Republic of the Congo, so he can be laid to rest among his loved ones. They say our beloved Cedric, son, brother, uncle, cousin, and friend, has left us with a loss that words cannot fully express. His passing has deeply affected all who knew and loved him, and our hearts remain broken as we navigate this unimaginable time. Cedric was a remarkable person whose presence could light up any room. He was intelligent, outspoken, and wise, never afraid to share his thoughts, to offer guidance to those around him. His joyful spirit, infectious laughter, and natural ability to bring people together made him the life of every gathering. Above all, Cedric was a loving brother, son, uncle, and friend whose generosity, warmth, and kindness touched countless lives. So very sad. Okay, he was also known for his involvement in Congolese community events. In June of 2022, according to his Instagram, he served as the master of ceremonies for the 62nd anniversary celebration of the Democratic Republic of Congo's independence held in Newark, New Jersey. May he rest in peace. That's very sad. So here we go again. Now that makes 11 lynchings, okay, within this year. And we're just in August. Okay, we're just in August. So please pay attention. This is all so distressing. With that all being said, I'm going to conclude the broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll be back later on this evening. And until then, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Oh yeah, I'm on your ass. I just got to know. What up with that audio? Nolan Wells, we not gonna stop. No, no, we won't go. I'm hugging your parents in spirit. Yeah. Nolan, we on this case and we demand answers. Oh, they expose. Real queen of receipts, dropping. Oh, and we got your back. Somebody gon' talk. Hell yeah, the ancestors walking. I'm so serious. Queen on the case. Oh, they asking full-blown panic now. They trying to shut us down, close our mouth. But I just won't. Damn that. Well, we not gon' stop. No. I'm hugging your parents in spirit, yeah. Nolan, we on this case and we demand answers. Oh, they expose. What happened to you? We tied. You don't get the all my kids ain't cover it up. I said, show yourself, yeah. Steady talking about they was his friends. Show up and talk if that's the case. Hold on, Nolan, it's coming to the light. Yeah, the queen on the case. Hold on, Nolan, we won't give up. Rest in his peace. We all love you. No. Nolan. Well, we not gonna stop. No. Hugging your parents in spirit. Nolan, we on this case. Oh, they exposed the real queen of receipts. Dropping. We got your back. Somebody gon' talk. Hell yeah, ancestors walking. Rest in his peace.